What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Keeta, KTA today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Okay, we're going to be talking about Keeta, the cheetah, here on the 17th day of December. Here we are with about 5 hours and 44 minutes left in this day. We've got 23.7 cents as the current price, and it does look as though we've got this kind of M-shaped pattern upon us right here. We had a nice W set up over here. I cannot believe that W failed, man. It's unfortunate, but oh well, it happens. What we do have on the positive side is a rounding bottom, okay? Right? Rounding off, whenever you round off on the lows or to the highs, whatever, it typically promotes a shift, a sudden move up like this, like a surge in price like this, but maybe more dramatic like this, right? Something that's just quick. And it happens whenever this, because it's a slow gradual shift, but whenever that tipping point gets there, it's just all of a sudden. And you might consolidate, whatever, pull back to the median, the norm, whatever, and then you continue to rally, right? You get your higher low. We saw this with Bitcoin, with BTC, but to the opposite effect, right? We were rounding off the top, right? We were rounding off the top. We even had the fake out there. But we were rounding off the top. You can see it on the bottom. You're rounding out the bottom. And then the sudden shift happened. Once this happened, everybody was bearish, right? Everybody freaked the hell out. Everyone was calling for bear market. But really, after like that first week went by, we really haven't done much, right? It wasn't this like permanent decay into nothingness. Maybe it will be. Probably not. There's other moments like this too, and not just with Bitcoin, but with other cryptos where, again, this kind of soft curvature typically does suggest a shift to the opposite direction. And if we're looking at this here on the daily time frame, we're looking at the RSI, you can see the shift happening in the RSI too. You've got this flat kind of bottom, lower high scenario here, as if you were going to come down into the oversold zone, but hold up now. You went from what was arguably a downtrend in your RSI to what is now more or less a sideways trend in your RSI, shifting. And it looks like you're setting up for an upwards trend right now, right? You're kind of in the upwards trend the same way that you were in the downwards trend here, but you're in the sideways zone. We're not in these areas of control, bullish control yet, where things typically get a little bit more exciting. This shouldn't excite you for today or tomorrow or even by the end of December, but perhaps by the end of January, perhaps sometime in February, that might be when we're actually getting overbought, right? Let me try and draw this line a little bit better. I'm trying here. Sometime in February might be when we're overbought. You guys, when you're overbought, this is what you do. This is what you do, right? Whenever you move up, and this isn't a good example because it doesn't show all the history of KTA. Really, you were down here and you had a nice, massive move up as well. But when you're overbought, I mean, mark my words, these readings are going to promote growth that we haven't seen in this thing's existence, right? At least on this chart. Growth that we haven't seen since before this this time back here where it was like this. The daily RSI, in my opinion, is neutral right now, but there's some serious bullish momentum building right now. The stochastics have reset. We're in the oversold zone, and that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to bounce here. But whenever we were oversold last time, we were at these relative lows. Whenever we were oversold this time before, we were at these relative lows. And make no mistake, again, just because we're oversold doesn't mean we have to bounce now. We first got overbought or oversold right here. Did we go lower? For like the next week, we did, yes. But then a week after that, we were back at that point where we originally got into the oversold zone. But all of these oversold levels, whether it's a low and it promotes a lower low inevitably, they're all at low points. And we're clearly at a low point now. Does it mean that we can't go lower? No, we can't. We can go lower, and we'll go over that in a short amount of time here. But we're very near the low, if not at it in itself. The MACD is bearish overall, but we're trending, right? We've got this, we're finding support. We're actually like building higher. You're finding support here. You're actually at a point where you'd expect to bounce on the MACD as well. Just like we did here, just like we did here, right? Just like we did here, but to the downside. It makes a lot of sense that we might bounce. Let's look at the short-term stuff and then we'll zoom back out. Okay, the 1 hour time frame here does technically have bullish divergence. And in fact, forgive me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but doesn't this look familiar? I swear we've seen this before. Maybe I'm crazy. Doesn't it look familiar? Doesn't this just look identical? Doesn't it look familiar? I think it does. I think it do. We got bullish divergence. not just between these low points here, but really throughout like this point here as well. Bullish divergence on the stochastics and on the MACD. All 1 hour indicators, bullish divergence. 3 hour time frame here. No, 4 hour time frame. I'm sorry. Bullish divergence on the MACD. Bullish divergence on the stochastics. Bullish divergence on the RSI. On the 1 hour time frame and the 4 hour time frame, on every indicator we have laid out here, you have bullish divergence. You're moving down, you're seeing lower lows, and the volume is depleting. Right? Here, you're moving up, you're moving up. Where was your high? Your high was where your volume depleted. Where was your low? Connect the dots, right? Right? Can we go lower? We can. It's possible. It could happen. If we were to go lower, you know, in the context of this 1 hour time frame looking like this, might we go lower and make the 4 hour time frame look like that, where we get a slightly lower low here? And then this is our sideways kind of range. Akin to Bitcoin doing this, but like on the 4 hour time frame. Maybe. Maybe KTA, maybe you do go all the way back down below 20 cents again. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If that happens, it's going to be short-lived. It'll be just like this. And maybe not exactly like this, but it'll be, you know, maybe it's like this. Maybe it's a little slower, but it won't be long-lived at all. Bullish divergence on every indicator on the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame. It's hard to be bearish here. Moving down, quote unquote, breaking out to the downside without volume. It's hard to be bearish here. Daily time frame looks great, right? Now you are at a point where you could find support on the MACD. You're at a point where we typically cool off on the stochastics and we're ready to move up higher. Doesn't mean it has to be here, but it could be. And the RSI, if we're looking at this, I mean, for what it's worth as well, you're not in an uptrend technically yet. I mean, kind of. You've got higher lows and higher highs, I guess. You're right at the base of this channel. There's no bullish divergence on the daily indicators. But damn it if all these time frames aren't bullish, you guys. KTA here at 23.7 cents. It's very hard for me to be bearish. And mark my words, we're setting up for something fierce because of this here. And when we pop, we're not going to stop it here. We're not going to stop at these tops at 32, 35 cents. We're probably not even going to stop here at 42 cents. We're probably going to, from here, 23.7 cents, rally all the way up to these highs. And mark my words, I bet we even go through those highs. If not, perhaps we stop just shy of them. I doubt that what we see here, and maybe this is the exact outcome just because I'm saying I doubt it, but I doubt that we stop right at this level. That seems too obvious. So what's the less obvious approach? Well, maybe here where we found support before, maybe we find resistance there. Maybe here where we found support before up here and we found resistance right there and support back there. Maybe, you know, just something that's a little bit outside of what's obvious. And that high is discernible. It stands out. These highs are discernible, but these don't stand a chance, right? Right? One high, okay, maybe it stands a chance. Two highs, all right, maybe it stands a chance. But the third time, no, you're going to bust through it. Yeah, you're going to bust through it. You got higher lows too. I would think something between 55 cents and 75 cents is on the way. And when I say on the way, what I believe is that I don't know. This will either happen by the end of the year. This will either happen by the end of December that we're up in this area, or we'll continue to consolidate, and then perhaps sometime in January we get that shift. But I would guess, because it's the 17th of December right now, I would guess that within the next 30 days, within the next month, we likely see this shift happen. So there is a, you know, from here, what kind of move is that? That is a 120% to a 200%. That's a 2.2 to a 3x move within the next 30 days. I can't guarantee anything. Nothing's a guarantee. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't even think financial advisors can guarantee you. But I would bet a lot of money that we see a 2 to 3x move in the next 30 days for KTA. It's not that hard to make a 2 to 3x move. Just buy KTA right now and wait for 30 days. You might only have to wait for 2 days. I don't know. At any moment now, this could blast off. I don't see enough bearish implications to make me think that we go lower. But again, as I started the video, we do have this kind of M shape here. So if we go below these lows, KTA is not broken. It's on sale. It's a fantastic time to buy. And again, this chart doesn't do a good representation. Let's actually go. Let's go to Dex Screener. I had to learn how to spell cynical. Thought it was with the S. Let's see. Do you guys know that triple only has one P, not two? That would throw me off, man. Triple, but it's try pull, not trip pull. That's how it makes sense if you think about it. Anyways, for anybody who likes to spell out there, we're talking about KTA. KTA. Like instinctively, I think triple is two P's, but if you think about the words, triple is try. It's not trip like I tripped and then pull. It's try, triple, try. I don't know. Does that make any sense? Anyways, that's how I make sense out of it. Anyways, daily time frame here. See, we don't get all this data without Dex Screener. We're missing anything from before May, and KTA came out well before May. Right? Our first video on KTA was back in March. Shout out to, I want to say it was Adam. Shout out to Adam. I don't remember your last name. I want to say it started with an M, but Adam for the early call out, man. I miss you. Where are the rest of your crypto gems, huh? Adam's our inside guy. Looking at this here, maybe you've responded on the comments. Adam, if you have responded on the comments and I haven't replied to you, I'm sorry. There are a lot of comments to sift through, and I normally just sift through the scams to block them. But if you reply in the comments, if you guys see a guy named Adam replying in the comments and he's recommending a crypto, first off, beware of scams. But second off, I don't know, maybe do your research on it, see if it's worth looking into. What had me curious was that there's a former Google CEO that was partnering with this, right? Anyways, I'm getting all distracted. Who cares? Looking at this here, where we're finding support is right there at prior resistance. If we go lower, we have all of this significant price area to find support at. It's really not that big of a deal. I doubt we go down there. I doubt we go to the base of this area. I doubt we go to 10 cents. I would, at this point, even be a little bit surprised if we went below 20 cents, but it could happen. Again, we have this M shape. But at the end of the day, up and then down, down and then up, sideways forever, whatever. At some point, we're going to see this shift happen. And this shift doesn't just stop here. It doesn't just stop here. When this shift happens, this is going to likely trigger something that will inevitably allow the price to see new all-time highs. And when the price sees new all-time highs, not if, but when, which I would think is sometime in Q1. If I had to guess, February, March, Q1. That's when we'll see new all-time highs. February, March. We'll probably go up to $3.14 to $6.90. And here we are at 24 cents. So the initial surge might be a 2 to 3x, but the overall move from here, right, like the initial dump might be 30%, 40%, whatever, but the overall move was way worse. There were little moves in between. This initial pop might be here, but the overall move should take us, I believe, all the way up to $3.14, which is a 13x, to potentially $6.90, which is almost a 30x. It's a 28x. And I would expect that we likely don't stop here, and we likely don't stop here, but somewhere in between by the end of Q1 2026. If not, maybe very early Q2. I'm talking April at the latest that we would see. Not April at the latest that we'd start to move up. April at the latest that we'd be here. I'm talking about the destination zone. We will be here either in February, March, or April. I'm guessing late February, mid-March, that time frame there. We'll see. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. I believe KTA can go a hell of a lot higher than that, absolutely, but baby steps first, right? Let's prove ourselves, back test, find support, and we'll continue to rally, probably all the way up to prices that are well above $60, $50, $30, whatever, $100. Hit the like button. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.